Have you ever felt like people are slowly drifting away, but you don't know why? It's not just age or distance. Sometimes the hardest truth is this. As we grow older, we may develop habits that quietly push people away. And the most painful part? We don't even realize we're doing it. Welcome to Golden Minds, where we share wisdom, heart, and truth for those navigating life after 60 with strength and grace. In today's video, we're going to talk about 10 surprisingly common habits that can make aging lonelier, more frustrating, and emotionally harder than it needs to be. These aren't dramatic mistakes. They're quiet patterns. A sigh, a missed call, a simple "no, I'm fine" when we're not. We'll follow the story of Julie, a 71-year-old woman who thought she was just getting older, until she realized the real reason people were pulling away. Her story might feel familiar, but the good news is, it's never too late to reconnect, rebuild, and rediscover joy. Each of these habits comes with a gentle solution, something you can start doing today to protect your relationships and renew your sense of connection. So if you've ever felt invisible, misunderstood, or just want to stay close to the people you love, stay with us to the very end. And if you find value in this video, tap the like button, subscribe to Golden Minds, and share this with someone you care about. Let's grow wiser together. Habit 1, refusing help. When independence becomes a wall. Marion had always been proud of handling things on her own. At 73, she still managed her house, drove herself to appointments, and cooked every meal from scratch. She'd spent most of her life caring for others, her children, her aging parents, her late husband. So when her neighbor offered to carry her groceries one afternoon, Marion smiled politely and said, "Thanks, but I've got it." But later that evening, as she rubbed her aching shoulder and stared at the untouched bag of apples on the counter, she realized something uncomfortable. She didn't have it, not that day, and not really for a while now. There's a quiet loneliness that creeps in when we start saying no, not just to offers of help, but to connection, kindness, and shared moments. Many older adults equate asking for help with being a burden, or worse, appearing weak. But the truth is, accepting help is a form of strength. It means we're open. It means we're human. When you let someone lend a hand, you're not just getting help. You're giving them a chance to care. And that's how relationships grow. So the next time someone asks, "Do you need anything?" try saying, "Actually, yes. Thank you." You might be surprised by the smile you get in return and the warmth it brings to both of you. Have you ever pushed someone away without meaning to? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story might just help someone else feel seen. Habit 2, the quiet weight of negativity. When every conversation feels heavy. After Marion began accepting help, she noticed more people stopping by. Her niece, her old neighbor Rick, even the delivery guy lingered for a little chat. But something strange happened. They didn't stay long. Conversations felt brief, almost rushed, like people couldn't wait to leave. She mentioned this to her friend Carol over tea one afternoon. Carol hesitated, then gently said, "I think sometimes you focus too much on what's wrong." At first, Marion was surprised, but then she listened to herself. She'd talk about the latest ache in her back, how expensive everything had become, or how the world just wasn't like it used to be. It wasn't intentional. She was just sharing how she felt. But over time, the tone of her words had changed. Here's the truth. Negativity, even when it comes from a place of honesty, can quietly wear people down. It's not about pretending everything is fine. It's about being mindful of how much space frustration takes up in a conversation. To turn this around, Marion tried something simple. She started each visit with something good, a beautiful sunrise she saw, a funny memory, or even just the smell of fresh coffee. And something changed. People stayed longer. They smiled more. She felt lighter too. Positivity doesn't mean ignoring your struggles. It means refusing to let them define every interaction. What's one positive thing that made you smile this week? Share it in the comments. Let's fill this space with warmth and light. Habit 3, resisting change. When familiar routines turn into walls. After making space for more positive conversations, Marion felt her relationships begin to soften. But there was still one thing that kept her feeling disconnected: technology. Her daughter kept asking her to join the family group chat, her grandson sent her short videos she never opened, and her medical clinic now expected her to confirm appointments online. She always had the same answer: "I don't need all that. If it's important, they can call." But the calls came less often. One afternoon, her daughter gently said, "Mom, we share everything there. Photos, news, even jokes. You're missing out." Marion hadn't meant to shut anyone out. She just didn't want to feel overwhelmed or embarrassed by what she didn't know. But slowly she realized something important. Resisting change didn't protect her, it isolated her. It's easy to cling to routines that feel safe. After all, they've worked for years. But when the world moves forward and we refuse to budge, we create distance, even from the people we love most. So Marion took a deep breath and asked her grandson to teach her how to text. It wasn't perfect at first. She sent emojis by accident and struggled with autocorrect. But the smile on her grandson's face made it all worth it. Being open to change doesn't mean losing who you are. It means choosing connection over comfort. Is there a new habit, app, or idea you've been avoiding? Try saying, "I'll give it a shot." You might discover a whole new way to stay close. Habit 4, talking too much, listening too little. When conversations become one-way streets. Once Marion started texting with her family, a new world opened up. Her granddaughter sent her a video of her dance recital. Her son shared pictures from a camping trip. For the first time in a long while, Marion felt like part of their lives again. But during a weekend phone call with her daughter, something didn't sit right. The conversation had lasted almost 30 minutes. But Marion couldn't recall asking her daughter a single question. She'd spent most of the time sharing memories, offering advice, and jumping in with stories of her own. Later, as she set the phone down, a thought settled in. Had I really listened? It's natural to want to share, especially when you have a lifetime of wisdom, stories, and lessons. But when conversations become one-sided, the people we love may start to feel unseen or unheard. Listening is one of the most powerful ways to stay connected. It tells the other person, "You matter. I care about what's happening in your world." So Marion tried something different on her next call. She paused more often, asked open questions, let silences linger without rushing to fill them. And what happened? Her daughter opened up. They laughed. They lingered on the line. Sometimes the most meaningful part of a conversation isn't what you say, it's what you're willing to hear. Next time you talk to someone you love, try asking, "And how about you?" You might be amazed at what they've been waiting to share. Habit 5, ignoring health warnings. When silence from the body speaks the loudest. After deepening her connection with loved ones through better listening, Marion began noticing something else. Not in others, but in herself. Lately, she felt unusually tired. Her legs ached when she stood too long, and her vision sometimes blurred when she got out of bed too quickly. Still, she brushed it off. Just age, she told herself. It'll pass. One morning, while reaching for a dish in the kitchen, a wave of dizziness struck her hard. The next thing she knew, she was on the floor, staring at the ceiling, too stunned to move. Hours later, in the emergency room, a doctor gently said, "This could have been prevented." Like many older adults, Marion had learned to push through discomfort, to avoid making a fuss. But here's the truth. Small symptoms often whisper before a big issue screams. Fatigue, imbalance, shortness of breath, even forgetfulness. They may not just be part of aging. They might be signs your body needs attention. Ignoring them doesn't prove strength. It only delays solutions. After that fall, Marion made a quiet promise. No more guessing. She scheduled regular checkups. She listened to her body. She even joined a gentle exercise group at the community center. And something amazing happened. She felt stronger, steadier, and more in control. If something feels off, don't wait. Call your doctor. Get it checked. Your health isn't just about adding years. It's about adding life to the years you still have. What's one small health habit you've been meaning to start? Share it in the comments. Your change might inspire someone else. Habit 6, telling the same stories without leaving room for new ones. After Marion's fall, she became more intentional about her health, her habits, and the way she spent time with others. But during a lunch visit with her son and his family, she noticed something subtle: polite smiles, quiet nods, and then a quick change of subject. Later that evening, she replayed the conversation in her mind. She had told the story of her first apartment. Again, the one with the squeaky stairs and broken heater. It was one of her favorites, but she realized something she hadn't before. She told it every time. It's a common habit. Sharing familiar memories brings comfort, a sense of identity, even pride. But when stories are told too often and no space is left for others to speak, they can begin to feel like reruns instead of connection. The heart of conversation isn't just sharing, it's inviting others to speak, to reflect, and to feel heard too. So next time Marian tried something new, she told a story, just one, and then paused. She looked at her granddaughter and asked, "Have you had any funny school stories lately?" The young girl's face lit up, and from there, a new memory began. It's not about forgetting the past. It's about making room for others to bring their stories forward too. Is there someone in your life who lights up when they speak? Try asking them a question today. You might be surprised at how good it feels to simply listen. Habit 7, judging too quickly. When opinions become barriers. After Marian began inviting others into conversations, she noticed her granddaughter Emily visiting more often. They'd chat about school, music, even silly trends on the internet. But one afternoon, when Emily excitedly mentioned a new hairstyle she wanted to try, Marian blurted out, "Oh, honey, that's just ridiculous. Why would you do that to your hair?" The silence that followed was sharp. Emily smiled politely, but the spark was gone. She changed the subject, and a wall quietly rose between them. Marian didn't mean to be harsh. In her mind, she was being honest, offering guidance. But later, while folding laundry, she remembered all the times her own mother had dismissed her ideas when she was young. It didn't feel like love back then. It felt like being shut out. Sometimes judgment wears the mask of wisdom, but what feels like advice can land as criticism, especially when it comes too fast, without curiosity or care. Marian made a shift. Instead of reacting, she started asking questions. "What do you like about that?" Or, "Tell me more about it." And just like that, the door reopened. Emily felt safe again, to share, to laugh, to be herself. You don't have to agree with everything to stay close, but being open enough to listen, that's how trust grows. Next time you feel the urge to correct or dismiss, pause. Try curiosity instead. You might discover something beautiful beneath the surface. Habit 8, withdrawing without a word, when silence is misunderstood. After learning to be more curious and less critical, Marian noticed a deeper bond forming with her family, especially Emily. But when a neighbor invited her to a weekend potluck, Marian hesitated. She looked at the invitation on the table, sighed, and quietly set it aside. Too much effort, she told herself. They won't even notice if I don't come. But they did notice. Later that week, her neighbor said gently, "We missed you." I wasn't sure if something was wrong. That's when it hit Marian. She hadn't just declined the invitation, she'd disappeared. No explanation, no call, just silence. As we get older, it's easy to pull away without realizing the impact. Maybe we feel tired, anxious, or simply not in the mood. But when we don't explain, others may assume we're upset, uninterested, or distancing ourselves on purpose. Connection needs clarity. Saying, "I can't make it, but I'd love to catch up soon," keeps doors open. A little communication can make a big difference. Marian made a promise to herself. She wouldn't vanish quietly anymore. Even when saying no, she'd say it with kindness, not absence. And when she felt unsure, she'd push herself just a little to show up, even if only for a short while. Because sometimes showing up is how healing begins. Have you skipped a gathering lately without explaining why? It's okay. We all need space. But next time, try a simple message. Let people know you still care. That small effort could bring someone peace. Habit 9, living in the past. When memories hold you back from new joy. After making the effort to reconnect with neighbors and communicate more openly, Marian felt lighter. But on quiet evenings, especially around the holidays, she often found herself lost in old photo albums. She'd linger over pictures of her children when they were small, her husband's warm smile, vacations long past. Those memories were precious. They always would be. But over time, Marion realized she was spending more time looking back than living forward. One evening, her friend Nora gently said, "Marion, you always talk about what was, but I'd love to hear what you're excited about now." The words landed softly but deeply. Marion hadn't thought about what she was looking forward to, because honestly, she hadn't allowed herself to look. It's natural to cherish the past, but when we live there too long, we begin to miss the beauty of what's still unfolding. The present quietly slips by while we replay old stories on a loop. So Marion tried something new. She made a small list, things she still wanted to try, places she'd love to visit, people she hadn't seen in a while. It wasn't grand, but it gave her hope and something to move toward. The past is a lovely place to visit, but not where we're meant to stay. What's one thing you're looking forward to, no matter how small? A walk in the park, a call with a friend, a new book? Share it in the comments. Let's remind each other that life still has so much to offer. Habit 10. Forgetting to find joy. When self-sacrifice silently drains your spirit. After Marion started looking toward the future, she noticed something else. She couldn't remember the last time she truly laughed. Not a polite chuckle, but a real, full-belly laugh, the kind that left her cheeks sore and eyes watering. For years, she had focused on everyone else. She made sure the bills were paid, meals were cooked, appointments were scheduled. When friends invited her to concerts or day trips, she'd say, "Maybe next time," telling herself it wasn't practical or that there were more important things to do. But deep down, she had begun to confuse duty with identity. She had become so used to taking care of others that she forgot how to take care of her own joy. One Saturday, her neighbor Nora dropped by with 2 movie tickets. "It's a silly comedy," she said, "but I figured we could both use a laugh." Marion almost said no, out of habit, but something in her paused. That evening, surrounded by strangers laughing in the dark, she found herself laughing too. Really laughing. And afterward, something shifted. Joy doesn't ask for perfection. It just asks for permission. Even small moments, music, nature, good company, can breathe color back into a life that's turned too gray. So Marion made a new rule. One small joy every day. What's one thing that brings you joy? Something just for you? Share it below. Let's inspire each other to embrace the happiness we've spent a lifetime earning. Marion never imagined how much small habits were shaping her life until she paused long enough to notice. It wasn't one big decision that created distance. It was the quiet moments, the turned-down invitation, the story told one too many times, the silence when help was offered, or the missed chance to simply laugh. But here's the beautiful truth. Just as those habits slowly built walls, new habits can gently open doors. Whether it's choosing to listen a little more, letting someone help, learning something new, or finding time to smile, every small step matters. And it's never too late to begin again. Aging is inevitable, yes, but disconnection isn't. Loneliness isn't. Bitterness isn't. We have more power than we think, not to stop time, but to shape how we live through it, to grow softer, not harder, brighter, not dimmer. If Marion's journey felt familiar, know this. You're not alone. So many of us carry invisible habits without ever meaning to. But the moment we see them, we can begin to heal them. That's the power of awareness. And that's what Golden Minds is all about. Helping you live with wisdom, warmth, and meaning at every stage. So now, it's your turn. Which of these habits spoke to you the most? Which one will you gently work on this week? Leave a comment below. Tap like if this message resonated with you. And don't forget to subscribe to Golden Minds, where every story reminds you your best years aren't behind you. They're still unfolding, one mindful moment at a time.